employee experience is pretty holistic. We focus on the individual component, we focus on leadership, we focus on teams, we focus on culture, and all of those together really, are what make a great employee experience. It's not the foosball table or the free coffee or the snacks. It's really just creating a culture of respect and inclusivity that people really enjoy in these high-performing companies.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about employee experience. In fact, we're going to talk about it from the perspective of how can you create a better employee experience to grow your business, because it actually does impact not only revenue, but profitability. It really ties to the bottom line. Having the right employee experience is really about having the right culture and really growing together, as we'll talk about in our special episode today. We have Chris Saltz with Rali. He's the Chief Revenue Officer. He actually is an old friend of mine. He actually gave me a shot when no one else would. And it's really great to have him on the show before. That was in 2010 when my life fell apart and I was able to put myself together enough to get a job and go to Intellinet, which is where he was our VP of sales. And it really was a great experience for me to get back on my feet, learn a little bit more about sales in a professional environment with enterprise level accounts. And it really was a turning point for me in many ways. I share all that with you because Chris was part of that journey with me, and I'm happy to be full circle that I've been running this business for 12 years plus and really helping businesses grow and with the right employee experience. And now things have aligned and Chris is working for Rali. Rali is a platform beyond learning management systems. And it really is about, how do you create the right employee experience and how are people actually changing behavior because of this? And we unpack that in today's episode. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm an executive coach. We do leadership development, turning managers into leaders, really providing leadership at all levels of the company we believe is really important to your success and predictable growth as you continue to move forward. One thing I know for sure, that if you don't have the right leadership, you will struggle and stress. You will find lots of excuses and reasons that things aren't moving. But when you have the right leadership, no matter what challenges are in front of you, you know that your team will rally for you, no pun intended, but you will absolutely be able to grow your work and your agency. If you're curious about the work we do here at Core Elevation, make sure you reach out to us. You can go ahead and go to coreelevation.com. You can actually check out the next virtual conversation, which is a very important piece of learning, we feel, because we have people that have been guests on the show before. We have other people that are in this world of helping and advising companies to grow. To this month coming up, we're talking about how to position your company for sale. So if that's interest to you, you can go to coreelevation.com and sign up today at virtual conversations. And if you don't happen to be able to make it because of the timing and you do sign up, you actually get a recorded copy of this. We organize it, we make it professional, make it easy for you to comprehend, and hopefully it'll inspire you to want to be there next time if you can make it. So go to coreelevation.com/virtual conversations and see if it's right for you. Now here's the interview with Chris. Chris, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Gene. Great to see you again.
Well, you were my boss. You gave me a chance when no one else would.
Well, those are good days to look back on. You and I both learned a ton, obviously, since then.
Yep. For those of you who don't know my past, I ran a business successfully for 9 years until one day it wasn't successful. And I had to find a new path in life. And I took coach training to get myself back in gear. And it was very needed because I lost everything. And then I showed up in a conference room for a job interview with Chris and his team. And it was really, I felt like a good match. And it was a great opportunity to get back into the working world, even though I'd been an entrepreneur all my life. So Chris, happy to have you on the show. It's been like 13 years. So it's been a long time.
Too long.
You're with Rali now.
We both look great still, though.
Well, of course we do. We look young. You're with Rali now. Tell us about what you guys are up to there.
Absolutely. So Rali really started as an idea a number of years ago. Our founder, Larry Mole, was the chief learning officer at American Express, Motorola, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And, he's charged with driving company culture, driving company initiatives, developing people. And really what he found through the traditional learning methods is the biggest frustration of his career was he could get people to go through things. He could take roll and take attendance and see that people had done a workshop or gone through the LMS to knock out something, but he could never really and truly drive measurable corporate change. So, he did what all entrepreneurs did, left the full-time job, founded Rali. At that point in time, it used to be called Juby. And really, so what he's created that I'm super happy to be a part of and driving the growth future of is Rali. So Rali is a category of its own, software as a service-based change experience platform. So not an LMS, it's purpose-built as an LMS companion, and it provides enterprises the ability to take any body of company initiative-driven content and deliver a team-based experience. So Larry developed a learn, do, and inspire methodology, which is really baked into our platform, and that experience is what within our users of the system, it activates high levels of engagement. There's measurable behavior adoption and organizational improvement. And the company's built not just on the platform, but also built with a very robust partner ecosystem of thought-leading luminaries, authors, public speakers such as yourself, that comprise a marketplace of specific journey-based solutions that are focused on something really near and dear to me, employee experience. So that includes personality mastery, employee engagement, inclusion and belonging, leadership development, high-performing teams, company values, all of that. And it's been just a great joy to be a part of it.
One of the fascinating elements behind what you just described is, to me, data. And maybe it's just the data in me that's fascinating. When you look at the data of organizations out there that aren't doing this well, what are you seeing?
You see a disconnectedness between leadership and the people. We all know, and there are a lot of metrics around this that kind of explain the connectedness between employee experience and organizational performance and growth. So, just the data points. One key thing that I pulled out of a study that we use, credit Josh Burson on this, is organizations that focus on employee experience, they drive 2.2 times more toward their exceeding their financial targets, for example. So it is a very data-driven thing, and we take a lot of pride in being able to measure not just sentiment, but actual engagement and actual change in our platform.
Now, Chris just said something about data, and I like to highlight data that's really needed. But when you have the right employee experience, it will change the way your company performs by 2.2 times the companies that don't have the same level of employee experience. Now, there's a lot that you could probably say about this, but what I will leave you with is, why not lead your company to have a great employee experience? It's more fun for you. It's more fun for them. People perform at a higher level, so we get more done, we make more, and we have a bigger impact on the world. It's all wins. Just reminding you that employee experience isn't something that comes as an afterthought. You have to be intentional about it, and that's hopefully what we're unpacking for you today. Back to Chris. Now, the data on the flip side of that is got to be equally compelling. Having a more employee experience that people are happy with, and they feel a sense of trust and psychological safety. I'm sure those are the things that you guys are amplifying with your platform.
We are. I mean, to us, employee experience is pretty holistic. We focus on the individual component, we focus on leadership, we focus on teams, we focus on culture, and all of those together really, are what make a great employee experience. It's not the foosball table or the free coffee or the snacks. It's really just creating a culture of respect and inclusivity that people really enjoy in these high-performing companies.
I could take this in many different directions, but you guys got this platform that is really, I think, important. I'm going to go back to the phrase you used, the learn, do, inspire. Can you explain a little bit more about what that is?
Absolutely. So when Larry did his market research, he basically looked at programs ranging from smoking cessation to weight loss. And one of the things that he found was, knowledge transfer is not the same as it does not flip the switch in and of itself to behavior change. Behavior change really happens when a couple of things happen. Number one, you do have to have the attention of the individual that you are trying to implement the change with. Number two, it's always best done in a group-based setting. There are accountabilities within a group for not only going through the change together, but also just peer-based accountability of people checking one another's work and the positive dialogue that happens there. So in the way we think about learn, do, and inspire, our system is really sort of tile-based. It's 5-minute video, no more than 5-minute videos at a time, where people learn, and then they're asked to put it in practice outside the system and report back, wherein they have a learning partner that validates what they've done. And then they're asked to provide stories of how they have put that into practice and where they're observing the desired change happening within the organization. So all of those things really move the needle more on driving culture, driving real measurable behavior change.
I'm thinking back into some of the experience I've had with our clients, and we're not on a Rali platform. It is very interesting. We're on a traditional LMS, but we baked in there that group experience, a group accountability. I'm surprised that a lot of people haven't picked up on this because it's an easy way to experience it. I'm sure you've looked at the numbers. I mean, the most recent numbers I have around video only experiences of learning, 96% failure rate.
Yeah, Zoom. Nobody wants to do Zoom training anymore. It's too long. It's too one way. What we provide companies and individuals and cohorts within companies is the ability. This is really the cool part of it. They get to do change together. We're not doing change to them. They're going through change together, and they are able to go through it synchronously together, but asynchronously in terms of being able to do it on their own time, but still going through it together just based on how we've architected our platform.
Well, let's dive a little bit further into all of this, Chris. I'm sure you guys are probably using the platform. You're in the sales leadership. I'm sure you have a sales team around you. And again, I'm taking a shot here. Is your sales people going through this training as well on the platform you guys have created for your clients?
We are, interestingly enough. So we're, in our platform, we're not really focused on the hard competencies like specific sales motions or trying to drive another type of a hard competency like a technology learning. But in my group, we find it really a couple of journeys that we are going through together. Clients for Life is one by Pat Weimer out of Tenacity that we've gotten a ton of value out of, as well as C1X, local gentleman who's been in the flooring business in Atlanta forever, has developed the secret sauce for how to win clients for life on his own. So his name's Earl Wasserman, and we just find a lot of value in going through it. And it's not just sales-based stuff. We have another journey that has recently come out from an organization called Thrive, and it's called The Beauty of Conflict. And it's all about not trying to create conflict, but seeking it out from the standpoint of understanding that's where your organizational growth is going to come, is having the hard conversations and being able to relate to one another and capitalize on it.
Well, you said something that's near and dear to me. The hard conversations in our world, we say tough conversations only because of marketing. There's lots of books out there around this, but we're writing a book on how to have tough conversations, me and my wife, because we see a lot of organizations struggle with this conflict. They don't want to rock the boat or the status quo. I'm sure that when you're going through the Rali stuff, you guys are really helping people understand that it's not a bad thing to have conflict, but it's bad to ignore it and let it fester.
Yeah, it is our best organizational growth tool that we have, honestly, because out of conflict come maybe the best ideas emerge.
I love that concept. I'd love for you to unpack that a little bit more, because I think there's something going, conflict, the best strategy you had?
Yeah. Well, so the couple of different things. I mean, I'll probably go with more of a personal example. So, I call it leading with emotion. And for me, as a younger leader, as most of us probably did, we led from a position of authority. We led with, well, that's a dumb idea in meetings. We didn't particularly embrace or handle conflict. And, so when I call it leading with emotion, I'm not talking about flying off the handle in a meeting or conversation. To me, it means speaking to what you're feeling about what's being discussed or decided. So I've learned a lot about this. Actually, our CEO, Rich Cannon, has taught me a lot about that in the year I've been involved with Rali. So just a great example of that, when you're sitting in a meeting and facing, there's conflict and you're facing the choice of, do I disengage mentally or do I put on the sword and shield and go after it? Really my response I've learned is calmly interjecting with, look, what I'm hearing here frustrates me, and here's why. And it's just such a much more powerful way to reset the room in these kind of conversations. It grounds people, it helps create understanding. And at that point, you can actually start to make progress when they understand what your response is and what the emotion is behind that you're coming at it from. So I think that I've found that to be extremely helpful.
I love the story, and it does change the way the conversation takes it from there. That's just giving you the words you just said. This is what I'm frustrated by, and this is why. And that point of having a conversation from there is very different than it's broken and we need to fix it.
Yeah, it really is. There's no better way to connect with people genuinely from within your leadership team or your team in general, or even, conflict that we may have with a customer or that we may have with a partner. There's just no better way, in my opinion, to tackle what you're calling the tough conversations than to come back to, there's this tool we use, interestingly enough, called the feelings wheel, where you have to isolate where your anxiety or where your angst or where your frustration is coming from, and recognize that and call it out. And you build a lot of credibility in the room when people know that you're operating from your heart.
And this is different than what a lot of people teach in leadership, to be stoic, to be not talk about your feelings at all. In fact, it's frowned upon in some styles of leadership, whereas I don't feel like it's as effective as what you're describing. And you've got some experience to back that up with across not just your company, but all the companies using Rali and really helping to change behaviors with people.
Yeah, it's true, and it's one of the things that we can do best to drive connection. I mean, there are a lot of things. To me, connection is the starting point for really everything. And, conflict can be a great way to help drive connection too.
Now, Chris has been talking about emotions, and I think it's a really needed conversation because not a lot of leaders have embraced this. They feel like they need to be stoic. They feel like they need to be reserved and not express their feelings, express their emotions. Well, Chris shared a different perspective, and I want to really applaud Chris for this because it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to tell someone you're frustrated. It's not you whining. You want to do this with heart and being genuine. And that's the power of this. It really connects people together. And that's what Chris was trying to highlight. And I'm highlighting for you again to ensure that you do share a piece of your heart, your feelings with the people, because they deserve it. And you need to be able to express yourself in a way that actually does connect with people. And just being reserved and not telling people how you feel, it's pretty flat usually. So keep that in mind as you move forward. And if you have a tough conversation, you might use what Chris shared with us about telling them that you're frustrated. And this is why you're frustrated. It's a really good entry point into a conversation. Back to Chris. Chris, we are winding things down and happy to give you a chance to bring up anything that we haven't talked about so far in this talking about what Rali does, but really just this platform that you guys have around, and I'm going to go back to my notes again, learn, do, and inspire. Anything else that you want to bring up?
Yeah, it's so really our focus is corporate clients. We have a number of other organizations outside of the typical corporate customer. It's really kind of interesting. It's not just coming into the platform and consuming our partner content, but it's actually the ability to drive your own change initiatives internally, to create your own content. It's instructional design is made very easy in our platform. Just a couple of things that you may find interesting that we're using. You build a platform and then you realize there's so many other things that you can use it for. So we've got customers that use it for director level leadership development that they built in-house. Brand new customer of ours, Braves Country Youth Baseball and Softball, they've created a unique coaches experience, leveraging their own content filmed by current and former coaches and players for the Braves to help these volunteer youth coaches find their footing and thrive in these roles and adapt. Higher ed, creating digital curriculum and certification programs. So a lot of usefulness for it, a lot of different areas that we can that we can move into. What I'm really excited about at this point, beyond our partner channel and our own direct sales efforts, is the distribution model that we're putting together to really help us hyperscale. So, the kind of growth that we've had, 70% ARR year over year, gone from 20 customers and 20 partners to 50 apiece over the past year. It's exciting. I feel like we're on the right track. And just the more people that we talk to, nobody ever comes out of a conversation with us without feeling like that was really unique and interesting. So, just interested in continuing to get the word out there around what we do. We may be the best kept secret in this space.
Well, hopefully that's not something you can say for long, because when you get your message out there, everyone knows. So Chris, thanks for being here on the show and sharing your wisdom.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me, Gene.
Wow, another great interview on the podcast to help you grow your business. This one about employee experience really is necessary, because I think when you get the fact that you are in charge of this employee experience, that it doesn't just happen, you have to put some effect to it so that you actually have people that are growing and evolving. And the Rali platform is a good example of this. I haven't personally used it yet, but I know I'm really excited about how it's changing the game. And so if you're interested and curious about that, check out Rali. And if there's anything we can help you with, make sure you check out us at corelevation.com. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.